your blood pressure and your temperature. All of these functions of the body are driven by the immune system. At this stage, I want to challenge you. You've often thought about where you came from, where you're going, all of these mysteries of the world today. It's a little bit of a difficult subject because I'm going to touch on why there is controversy between religion and science. Science should support religion, and it does when you look at it with an open mind. You see, let's go back to the beginning of time. Let's go back to the formation of the universe and understand creation and understand how we have progressed to where we are today. We're going to do this in less than 1 minute. So it was a very fiery beginning. And then we had the first life forms appear. And we noticed in the life forms there was DNA. Then we had the first plants in the ocean and the first fish. And they moved out of the oceans and they became mammals on the land. And then man appeared. And with agriculture and fire, we were able to live in cities and create great monuments. And then we moved through to the Middle Ages. And it was in the Middle Ages that all of the sciences advanced as we move forward to where we are today. And so this leads me into sharing with you the difference between patterns and codes, because they're very different from each other. A pattern is a distinctly organized sequence, and they're everywhere in nature. They're easily recognized, like the incredible hexagon pattern of a honeycomb. How does the bee know to create that architecture? Like the symmetrical rings from a drop of water, like the curves of a nautilus shell, the shape of a pine cone and a fingerprint and a sunflower seed, and windswept sun dunes and hurricane cloud formations. We recognize all of these patterns. But codes carry information. They do much more than simply form a pattern. You see, mathematics is a code. Codes transmit data and they convey meaning. Egyptian hieroglyphics are a code. DNA is a code. They have a meaning. They're created through intelligence. And they require intelligent design. This is the link that I'm talking about. Science and religion go hand in hand, and are reinforced. A code is an instruction, it's a signal, it's a message. And again, it requires spiritual, intelligent design. Binary is a code, neurons communicating is a code, language is a code, music is a code. If this is the case, then why is colostrum at the forefront of medical recommendation today? It makes you think. You see, when they discovered penicillin in 1928, the pharmaceutical company said, we have now got control of infection. We can make a lot of money. We want to remove all of the ancient knowledge of what colostrum did to fight infections, and we can become #1 in the infection industry. So what happened with antibiotics? Through greed, 70% are used on animals. And that's where the mutations have occurred, and we're facing a real threat of antibiotic resistance. So the most complex code of life that is on this planet is colostrum. It's 200 million years of intelligent design. It transfers the elixir of life. It's a code breaker. It's the code restorer. It's an ancient secret that we've restored through the latest technology. New Image was the global pioneer, and we continue to lead the colostrum industry with our science. And I've been fortunate to be recognised as the Colostrum King, or the father of colostrum, and that's a real privilege. So the first mammal that appeared on the planet 200 million years ago looked like the modern mouse. This was our ancestor. It was warm-blooded and it suckled their baby just like the modern sheep does and the human mother does. So colostrum's been immunising and healing man since the beginning of time. And I believe the God particle is not out there in the universe, it's in colostrum. Because the Hebrew word for colostrum is halab. It's mentioned more than 40 times in the Bible in the Old Testament. And obviously the same in the Quran. So we have a spiritual basis. The Book of Buddha says there was 8 auspicious substances essential for life. Number 1 was oxygen. Number 2 was water. And number 3 was the curds or colostrum. And it had a spiritual nourishment connection. The Hindus have revered colostrum for thousands of years through the worshipping of the cow, and it's been used medically. Same with the ancient Egyptians. Their main god was called Hathor, the goddess of life, and 7 huge temples were erected to Hathor. The biggest temple is still there today in Dentera, and that's on my bucket list to go and visit there one day. And so Hathor is recognised as the goddess and symbol of rebirth. Again, I reinforce, colostrum is a spiritual product revered by every civilization there's been. There's no other substance on planet Earth to compare to colostrum for its health and protective qualities. It is the foundation of optimum health. So let's validate the colostrum code. And I want you to watch this video very, very carefully. And you will understand there's no other substance on the planet that has the code to restore the DNA, to restore the gene functions in the body, to restore the stem cell facilitation, and also slow down the telomere burn rate. I apologise, I've got the Taiwan version in here. I believe that a lot of you will follow the Chinese. But what it's saying is, if your DNA was all linked together, it would go to the sun 600 times. Absolutely amazing creation that you happen to be. Only identified 23,000 genes. There's a lot more that we don't know just exactly what they do. It takes 8 hours to transfer all the information from one cell to another cell. If something goes wrong with that transfer, you've got degenerative disease. This is well I can read Chinese, eh? So the difference between a human and a chimpanzee is only 2% of the genes, and another 2% between a human being and a rat. So all mammals are closely related. It's possible for identical twins to have 100% of the DNA. Everybody that's got blue eyes goes back to an ancestor 10,000 years ago. So there's lots of blue-eyed people in the world today, and that was a genetic mutation. So it's the genes that determine the features of how you look. So in case the human race is wiped out on the space station, they are holding the DNA of prominent people to re-establish the human race. If a mother has identical twins and one dies, the DNA from the dead baby transfers through into the living baby. So they become a human tremere. So what we've got to understand, there are jumping genes, and if they jump out of sequence, we get degenerative disease. I think that's a fabulous video, and I hope a lot of you were able to understand the Chinese subtitles. Tomorrow I'll play it again at the training. So DNA is the molecule of youth. And when a stress fracture, cellular communication becomes dysfunctional and degenerative disease result. So we understand this, and we've got to educate people. That's the important thing. You can't take life for granted. It's far too precious. And we're at the forefront of communicating much of the science today in Malaysia. And we've got to double and treble the number of people that are getting exposure to what New Image is able to offer. It's the single most important food in the world, containing over 120 bioactive constituents. So why are we so passionate about colostrum? It's a major immunity modulator. It restores hormones back to the same level of youth. It contains IGF-1 and human growth hormone. Nobody knew that until the last couple of months as to the quantities that are in colostrum. I want you to watch this historic video very, very carefully. It's why every time I come to Malaysia I look younger. It is the enhancer and elixir of youth.
Human growth hormone is one of the most widely researched hormones in the medical armamentarium. There are tens of thousands of children every year who are taking human growth hormone for short stature. Because after the age of 20, we lose the amount of human growth hormone circulating in our bodies, such that by age 30, 40, 50, most of us have almost undetectable levels of human growth hormone. And human growth hormone is a very powerful hormone, as important to the body as insulin, as important to the body as testosterone, as important to the body as thyroid hormone. When you replace human growth hormone in adults, you're replacing it at very, very, very minute amounts, almost homeopathic amounts. We know that in the studies that have been published, that adults who are chronically deficient in human growth hormone develop all sorts of immune problems, cognitive problems, problems with shrinkage of their organs, shrinkage of their bone and their muscle, and that by replacing just a small amount of that human growth hormone, they regain those missing organs. Anti-aging physicians of the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine have all been trained that their patients should be tested not once, not twice, but multiple times for these various hormones and to replace only the ones that they are deficient in.
Colostrum contains precisely the amount of IGF-1 which drives the HGH pathway to compensate for the body's decline in production through the aging process. Colostrum has the restoration code, determining the natural balance to slow down the aging process, and more precisely the medical intervention, which is costly and obviously not as effective. The multifunctional benefits rated as the ultimate supplement and foundation of good health. Colostrum, for everybody, every day.
So you see, with colostrum, it's in a measured dose that you take every day. When they're doing injections, they're guessing because they have not got everything that the body needs. So colostrum is so complete, and it's exciting with the discovery of the quantities of HGH and IGF-1 that's in New Image colostrum. So this will be published in the relative near future. Colostrum also restores the immune system to be fighting fit. It restores the digestive system to optimal function. It promotes optimum cellular function. And it's the only substance on earth that's completely compatible to every cell in the human body. Why is it still a secret here in Malaysia? I can't understand the growth that we're experiencing in other countries around Asia. Everybody's clamouring to get onto the colostrum bandwagon and to have this unique supplement. It's a life force superior to any other supplement. There is no competition. We are way out in front. It transfers immunity and memory, reprograms cells and organs, and reboots corrupted software. That's why I spent quite a little bit of time getting you to understand that colostrum is transferring the code to repair the DNA and the breakdown of the immune system. You see, your family is too precious to leave good health to chance. So we say colostrum for every family, every day. So New Image has products that are used in every household. It doesn't cost you any more money to use a New Image product. You just change the brand, because most families are already buying alternative brands. So it doesn't cost them any more for a superior brand and something that gives much better value. And of course the big thing is, being a member, we also give you cash back. You not only buy wholesale, you also get cash back. So I urge every one of you to leave here today knowing your responsibility as a wellness ambassador. I want you to share your story so we create a healthier Malaysia. So what I'd like to do, just finishing off, is focus on the opportunity and the financial freedom. You could be closer today to success than you're ever likely to be in the future. You see, our intention is to list the New Image Group on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange in 2019. And as chairman and founder, I have a succession plan. And to be able to determine who I consider as qualified to be shareholders and business partners, I'm prepared to give share options. I said give share options for retention and performance. So let's look at it. Why, after 17 months, is this Malaysia's best kept secret? It's an incredible incentive scheme for developing ruby, emerald and diamond leaders. It's so attractive, people would scramble from other companies to get involved, because this is the most effective wealth creation opportunity that's ever been offered in Malaysia. Why do people go and get involved in some of these scams that are out there today that we read about in the paper that the government is closing down? Every time they close a company down, there's broken dreams, there's people disappointed. They've made big commitments and they weren't delivered. So never again will there be such an incredible opportunity for financial freedom. My dear friends, embrace it or live the rest of your life with regret. Here's the deal. If you're 12 times a ruby, I'll give you 30,000 ringgit in share value. At a 10 times multiple, that would be equal to 300,000. Some of you are going to say, how could we get a 10 times multiple? Well, 46 companies on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange got a 10 times multiple, 1,000% in the first 6 months after listing. And none of them have got the story, have got the patents, have got all of the property and assets behind them that New Image has. If you are 12 times an emerald, I'll give you 60,000 ringgit value of shares. At a 10 times multiple, 600,000. And if you're a diamond, and this is a promise, it's in writing, it's my personal shares, I'll give you 120,000 ringgit of shares, which could be worth 1.2 million. But if you do some research on the stock exchange, you will find out that there could be 20 times or 30 times multiple.